Imagine two cats, one wild, one tame, bound by a friendship that logic shouldn't allow. A bobcat named Linda, orphaned in a merciless Minnesota winter, and Dooya, a fearless little calico from a city shelter, forging an unbreakable bond that would challenge every rule of nature and warm the coldest hearts. Anne. A frozen discovery beneath the blanket of wind-whipped snow. The Minnesota woods seemed suspended in silence, the branches of ancient pines groaning under winter's weight. Wildlife officer Sarah Jenkins plodded onward, each step a muffled thunk in knee-deep drifts. Her radio crackled. Another report of distressed creatures near Duluth, another life dangling by a thread. What drove animals toward human settlements when food vanished under ice? Questions pressed as fiercely as the Arctic air against her cheeks, and then tracks appeared. Fresh paw prints stained with dark flecks that glinted like a cruel promise. Finding the cub, Sarah's breath froze into tiny clouds as she followed the trail to an old oak, its roots lifting a hollow like nature's cradle. A faint, desperate mewing cut through the wind's howl, so faint that without keen ears, she might have missed it. There, nestled among broken branches and the ghost-warm remains of a mother's final embrace, lay a bobcat cub no bigger than a loaf of bread, spotted fur dusted white by snow, each shudder a plea against the cold. You're against the cold. Every instinct in Sarah's trained body screamed tragedy, but the cub's eyes, blue-grey sparks of will, sold her hope. Emergency rescue gloved hands trembling, Sarah scooped the tiny body into a spare thermal blanket, heart pounding like a drum in frostbitten ears. Roberts, I've got a cub, about 3 weeks old. Mum's gone, she whispered into her radio, voice cracking. Minutes later, she was speeding back toward warmth, the cub cradled against her chest, as if she were the only heartbeat in a frozen world. In a frozen world. Somewhere between despair and determination, a promise formed. This life would not slip away. Battle for survival at the Northwoods Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. Dr. Elena Martinez greeted them like a guardian angel. Sadie. In an exam room aglow with urgency, she barked orders. Warm fluids first, then a specially mixed formula that tasted of survival. The cub's tiny body fought to rise from hypothermia, every drop of warmth a victory. When Linda finally lapped at her first bottle, needing the air with a paw no bigger than a walnut, the room exhaled. Those blue-grey eyes shone with stubborn resolve. She wanted to live. She wanted to live. Naming an early growth, she's a beauty. Martinez murmured between sips of warm milk for Linda. The name was soft on the tongue, yet sturdy in meaning. Beautiful. Days blurred into nights of feedings and careful temperature checks. Linda's spots filled out, her limbs strengthened, and though she thrived, whispers began. She couldn't go back. Imprinted on human scent and voice, she would never learn the wild's wary ways. No return to the wild 3 months later. During a staff meeting scented with hope and sorrow, Martinez declared the truth. Linda would remain captive. Just then, news arrived that the Minnesota Zoo was expanding its North American wildlife wing and sought ambassador animals to educate visitors. The timing was uncanny. It's perfect. Sarah breathed as Linda batted at a brightly coloured toy, unaware her destiny was being written. Being written. Transition to zoo life at the zoo. Designers sculpted an enclosure brimming with climbing branches, hidden dens, and scent-rich enrichment. Linda tiptoed through her new realm, nostrils flaring at every unfamiliar odour. Keepers introduced her slowly, opening gates only when she showed calm curiosity. Each new step whispered reassurance that she was safe, yet something primal still echoed in her gaze. A longing not sated by tunnels or toys. A lonely heart, Linda lionized her space, but mimicked loneliness in the way she watched keepers go by, her amber eyes tracing figures as if begging for company. Her play sessions, though vigorous, carried an edge of desperate longing, tossing a rubber ball, pouncing on shadows, yet always alone. Observers wondered, could a solitary cat, wild at heart, ever find true companionship? A bold proposal, junior zookeeper. Jessica Chin raised her hand in a meeting like a beam of light. Oh, beam of light. Oh, what if Linda had a friend? She asked, voice steady. Not another bobcat, too unpredictable, but a domestic cat, embodying the tame side of feline life. It fit the zoo's new cats of all sizes he'd program, and might fill the emptiness in Linda's days. Skeptics warned of mismatched instincts and size differences, yet Jessica persisted, painting a vision of 2 cats teaching visitors about compassion beyond species lines. Compassion beyond species lines. Selecting Duyai in the dusky rooms of the Duluth Animal Shelter, they found Dugea, a calico kitten whose stripes were as bold as her confidence. While other cats cowered at visiting therapy dogs, Duya approached with wide eyes and a curious nose, settling down among wagging tails. Settling down among wagging tails. Is she special? The shelter manager said, watching Duya purr at a golden retriever's paws. If ever a kitten could bridge wild and tame, it was Duya. Barrier introductions back at the zoo, Duya took up residence in an adjacent enclosure, separated by clear plexiglass. Linda watched that first day with rapt attention, whiskers twitching. Duya yawned and stretched, unfazed by the predator-sized silhouette beyond. No hisses, no tense stares, only quiet fascination. Over days, the barrier allowed them to trade scent and sight without risk, each interaction sculpting their trust. Mesh-separated Play Phase 2 replaced plexiglass with reinforced mesh. Through its squares, Linda and Duye tentatively reached paws toward one another, sharing sniffed toys and gentle swipes. One morning, a large rubber ball rolled to the fence. Baya batted it, sending it careening to Linda's side. Up went Linda's paw, and soon they were playing a silent game of catch, separated, yet united by curiosity. Could this playful exchange be the key to unlocking real friendship? First unbarred meeting at dawn on a crisp morning, keepers watched with bated breath as Duya stepped through an open hatch into Linda's realm. Linda, now 3 times Duya's size, approached with measured grace, lowering her head to meet the kittens. Brights. Duya rose on her hind legs and touched Linda's nose with a single paw, an unspoken pledge of friendship. The hushed crowd of keepers exhaled. They had done the impossible. Blossoming bond from that day, the two were inseparable. Linda tempered her strength, rolling gently when Duya demanded a tumble. Duya chased Linda's tail and enlisted her as a climbing post. When thunder shook the sky, Duya curled against Linda's flank, offering calm. In turn, Linda's patient purrs soothed Duya's jitters. Their play carried no fear or aggression, only love. Visitors flocked to watch, a living lesson that tenderness transcends size and species. Transformative impact. As the cats of all sizes program grew, school groups buzzed with excitement, children peppering keepers with questions about evolution, habitat, and respect. A local hospital oncology ward brought young patients whose courage Linda and Duya mirrored. 2 souls banding together against life's storms. And they don't care that they're different, a patient whispered, watching Duya swat at Linda's tail. They just care that friends. They just care that they're friends. Media sensation and outreach photographers captured the duo's most tender moments. Duya nuzzling Linda's muzzle, Linda grooming Duya's ears, and the images raced across social media. National outlets told their tale, sparking letters from across the country. Families wrote of newfound empathy. Writers envisioned children's books, starring the pair as ambassadors of acceptance. Meanwhile, researchers studied their bond, hopeful that interspecies friendships could enrich captive care worldwide. Enduring legacy years have passed, but the friendship endures. Linda and Duya greet each dawn with gentle head bumps, chase each other through sunlit hollows at noon, and settle for evening grooming, before curling into a single furry knot. Their upgraded enclosure bristles with new enrichment, yet the true magic remains in their bond. In a divided world, these 2 cats remind us every day, friendship knows no boundaries, neither size, species, nor circumstance, and often comes from the most unexpected places.